All right, this is for students who missed class yesterday, specifically mainly Jazlia. So what you have in front of you, Jazlia, is the notes we took yesterday. And what I want you to do right now is to highlight the essential question, okay? Yesterday we learned about dividing decimals. Last week we had learned how to divide decimals like 0.2 divided by a whole number 1. This week we are learning how to divide 0.2 by 0.1. So 2 decimal numbers, okay? That's what we're learning how to do. I'm sorry. That is what we are learning right now, okay? Last week we learned decimal divided by whole number. This week we're learning decimal divided by decimal. All right. With that said, let's start this. So you're going to first highlight the essential question. The essential question is how, I'm going to try to do this. Essential question. How can you place the decimal point in the quotient? Now this is really messy, I'm sorry. How can you place the decimal point in the quotient? That's what we're really learning. Where to put the decimal point when we divide two decimal numbers. Remember, decimal numbers are 0.2 divided by 0.1. Where are we going to put the decimal point when we divide these two numbers together? The Bible verse for today is, But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. 2 Chronicles 15:7. And this is just to remind you that we can do it, okay? All right, so first thing we do when we're unlocking the problem, when we're reading a word problem, is to read it through first. So Matthew has 72 cents. He wants to buy stickers that cost 0.08 hundredths each. How many stickers can he buy? All right, first things first, let's make our equation. Let's highlight, okay? Let's highlight the events. So grab your highlighter, Jazlia. The first event is that Matthew has 72 cents. So highlight Matthew. Darn, this is hard when I'm recording. I'm messing up. Matthew has 72 cents. That's what our first highlighted. Our next highlight is to highlight 0.8 each. Each sticker costs 0.8 hundredths each. So you should highlight 0.8 hundredths. And what we're trying to find out is how many stickers can he buy. So you're going to highlight how many stickers can he buy. Okay. I put the phone down real quick just so I can close my highlighter. All right. The equation is then 0.72 divided by 0.08, because 0.72 divided by 0.78. Now the brain blast for today is you only move the decimal based on the divisor. So highlight this, Jazlia. Highlight this here. Okay. The question then is, what do we do now? Well, which one is the dividend? Which of these two numbers is a dividend? The dividend is the biggest number, is the decimal digit with the greatest value. Now, how do we figure that out? Well, let's try to model it, okay? 7, we have 7 in the tenths place, so that means we have 7 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You don't have to draw this, but just watch, okay, Jazlia? We have 7 in the tenths place. In this one, we have no tenths, so it's just 0. We have 2 in the hundredths place. Then we go over here, we have 8 in the hundredths place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which decimal digit has the greatest value? It's 0.72 hundredths because you have 7 tenths and 2 hundredths. So this is the dividend. Which then makes this one the divisor. So 0.72 is the dividend. Which one is the divisor? 0.08. Now why do we have to do that? Because figuring out which one is a divisor and which one is a dividend will help us figure out where to place the decimal point in the quotient. Okay? Now, Brain Blast, you only move the decimal based on the divisor. I'm going to say that again. You only move the decimal based on the divisor. This is the divisor. This is the number we want to make into a whole. So if our decimal point is here, we're going to move it twice to make it a whole number. 1, 2. So our number becomes 8. All right. So whatever we do to the whatever we do to the divisor, we have to do to the dividend. I'm sorry if I'm talking crazy. So if we move the decimal 2 times here, we have to move the decimal 2 times here. 1, 2. Decimal point goes there. So our new number is 72. All right. It becomes 72. So 8. Our divisor goes outside the box, 8. Our dividend goes inside, 7, 2. Now let's try to solve this, Jazlia, and whoever is re-watching this. Can an 8-year-old fit into 7-year-old clothing? No. So we put a 0 here. 8 times 0 equals 0. 7 minus 0 is 7. Move the 7 to the top. 8 times what gets us to 72? How many times can 8 fit into 72? Okay. What's 8 times 9, Jazlia? Eight times 9 is 72. So the 9 goes on top, 72. 0, 0. Our answer is, and now where does the decimal point go? Well, up here we put the decimal point at the end, so the decimal point should be here. So if we look at our box, there's the 7, because we put 7 there. There's the 2, because 2 there. Our decimal point should be at the back, because our decimal point is in the back. So our answer is 9, decimal point, 0. Technically, our answer is just 9. Okay, because the 9 is in the ones place, and the 0 is in the tens. So our answer is just 9. I hope that made a little sense. We're going to do the next page. Hopefully that helps you more. I'm going to try to do less talking. Alright, we have the equation 0.56 divided by 0.7. I'm sorry, 0.56 hundredths divided by 0.7. Okay, which one is the dividend? The one with the greater value is the dividend. Now, which one do you think is a dividend? Which one is a bigger decimal number? Well, let's figure that out. The 5 means there are 5 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0.7, it means there are 7 tenths. I'm sorry, did I say 7 hundredths here? 5 hundredths? These are 5 tenths, 6 hundredths. 1 tenth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which has the greater value, 0.7 or 0.56? It's 0.56 because it has 5 tenths and 6 hundredths. This is bigger than 0.7. If this was 0.77, this would be the bigger number, but this is a bigger number. Okay, so now that we know the divisor is 0.7 and the dividend is 0.56, we can move our decimal point. Remember, brain blast, move the decimal based on the divisor. I'm going to say that again. Move decimal based on the divisor. This is our divisor. So we need to move the decimal here to make it a whole number 1 time. So now this becomes a 7. Whatever we do to the divisor, we do to the dividend. So because we moved the decimal point 1 time, we're only going to move the decimal point 1 time in our dividend. So our new number is 5.6. Do you see how we did that, Jaslia? The 7 goes outside the box because it's our divisor. The 56 goes in the box. Ignore this extra box here, okay? I don't know why I drew that there. All right. Can 7 fit into 5-year-old clothing? No. So it becomes 5. Because 7 times 0 is 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. Pull the 5 to the top. Can 7 fit into 56? Yes. What is 7 times 8, Jaslia? 56. So the answer is right there, okay? 56. Now, where do we put the decimal point? Well, remember, up here, it should be between the 5 and the 6. So if we look at our box, it should be right here, between the 5 and the 6. So our answer is, if we look over here, it's 0.8. 0.8. Our decimal point's there because up here the decimal point is between the 5 and the 6 after we have moved it, and we put the decimal point right smack dab there. I hope this is making sense so far. We have one more, Jaslia, and then you do your work. Okay, here is our equation. 3.72 hundredths divided by 1.2. Which one is the divisor? Which one has the least value? It's 1.2 because we have 1 1, 2 tenths. This is a dividend because it has 3 ones, 7 tenths, and 2 hundredths. So our divisor is 1.2. Our dividend, which one is a dividend? It is 3.72. Okay, so whatever we do, so brain blast, move decimal based on the divisor. So we're moving the decimal of the divisor to make it a whole number, 1. So it becomes 12. Whatever we do to the divisor, we have to do to the dividend. So if we move the decimal 1 time in the divisor, we have to move the decimal 1 time in the dividend. So our new decimal point is 37.2. So I'm going to put the 37 here, 3, 7, 2. And up here, the decimal point is between 7 and 2, so I'm going to put it right here. Our divisor is 12. Goes outside the box. Okay, now we can do our division. How many times can 12 fit into 3? A 12-year-old cannot fit into 3-year-old clothing. 3 minus 0 is 3. Pull the 3 to the top. How many times can 12 fit into 37? Well, what is 12 times, let's do 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 36, 2, 4, 6, yep. That's probably the closest we can get to 37, because if we did 12 times 4, it would be 36 plus 12, which would be 48. So that would be too big. So it's 12 times 3 is 36. 7 minus 6 is 1, 0. Bring the 1 to the top. How many times can 12 fit into 12? 1 time. 12 minus 12 is 0. Our answer is 3.1. I hope you get it so far, Jazlia. I'm going to make another video for our work here, and hopefully that will help some people who are struggling. Okay, thank you guys. Enjoy the video, whoever watched it.